Screwing it back in.
Pardon?
I'm screwing the table leg back in. Oh, fuck it, it's fucked.
What are you doing?
Just unscrewed the table leg.
Oh, fiddler.
Whose go is it?
Me.
Go on.
Hello, welcome to this week's Industry Spotlight. This is episode 13. Today we're going to look at Instagram bringing shoppable posts to stories, LinkedIn rolling out carousel ads, Instagram's long-form video play, and Amazon Aurora Backtrack turn back time.
That's just the bottom. It's
Is it supposed to be funny?
no.
No. So the first topic we're going to be discussing today is Instagram stories and their new shoppable post that they're introducing. So you'll probably remember the latest shoppable post one, which is like a fixed static image where it offered the option obviously for people to go and purchase something on site. But yeah, as Instagram always do and Facebook, they're trying to leverage another ad format now, which allows people to actually click through and buy those shopping products from Instagram stories instead.
Cool. So how does that work? Exactly the same as embedded in posts, pretty much.
Yeah, I think from what's, I've not actually seen one in the wild, but yeah, it works in exactly the same way, I would have thought.
You're just rolling out to select partners first and then everyone else later.
Yeah, I would have thought so. I think they're trying to, just again, it's another ad format that they can get in front of people in it. But
What type of restrictions are going to be on that? Can you put a URL for something that's not associated with your Instagram business page, for example? So
no, I think you can
do whatever you
wherever you want. It's trying to attract the blogger community and the publishers there in it. As we know, a lot of people go on Instagram to read up and see the latest trends and stuff like that. What better place to put your best trending product on your social following or your blogger page? So yeah, I think it's just another ad format to leverage in it. They do it across everything.
Sounds like it's going to get spammed with a sponsored celebrity endorsement posts.
It's basically to crush Snapchat's shop that they brought out.
Yeah, just copying again.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so nothing too exciting, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with that. Is the right platform for it? If there's any platform that's suited to doing that kind of thing. I do like the format. I think it's quite good. How many times have you been on seen a nice publisher image of somebody wearing a nice jacket or shoes, something like that, and thought, oh, where can I get that? I think this format's going to be a little bit more interactive as well. You're forced to look at it as well and see it, and it offers you a nice little bag icon, like a little basket icon to click through as well. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of click-through metrics you see from that.
Cool.
But yeah, not actually seen one in the wild yet, but yeah, probably see more of them coming through over the next few months or so. The next topic is on LinkedIn that are rolling out the new sponsored content carousel ad format. Nothing too exciting with this one really. It's something that a lot of the other publishers have been doing for a long time now. It's just up to 10 cards I think that they offer now for you to scroll different ad creative. As you'll know, if you've advertised on LinkedIn before, you've only been given a single ad format in the feed. Which is just a static image that links to a destination URL. So not a massive amount of creative ability there when it comes to LinkedIn. Can understand why they've taken that approach. Obviously it's B2B for the majority of the time, so not really any need to be overly creative and visual across LinkedIn. It's about getting the message down and obviously talking in a very specific way to a B2B audience. I think what they have noticed is they've probably been looking at the metrics and performance stats across other platforms such as Facebook and Instagram and seen that these carousel ad formats drive better engagement and click-through, which is exactly what they've evidenced since they've launched this. So this is accessible to the public now. Every advertiser's got access to this carousel format. And like I say, I think you can have up to 10 different cards explaining different products, which can obviously have a deep link to a different product. So there's multiple opportunities to obviously get something across visually and descriptive about your business or your product.
Is this exactly like Facebook's carousel ads then?
Yeah, it's very similar, yeah. But like I say, I like the idea of it. I'm not sure it's an amazing thing for LinkedIn. I think they're always light years behind any other platform anyway. So you can guess whatever Facebook are trying to do now that could be used in a B2B capacity, they will always do, but probably a year, 2 years later even.
Does Facebook offer individual impressions and clicks per card on the carousel?
Yeah, you can get performance data per card.
Oh, right. I thought that were interesting that LinkedIn are going down that path.
No, just assume that whatever LinkedIn do, like they're just doing the very bare bones of what everybody else does.
Is there opportunity to build like a centralised ad manager that can manage his carousels across network then?
Yeah, you can already do that through like a DSP network or something like that.
Get some buildings.
There's aggregators where they'll bring all this data together, yeah. So they'll have exchanges where they can access LinkedIn inventory, Facebook inventory, display inventory, and see that all in a centralised platform. But they'd have to obviously work with the LinkedIn API to make sure it'll only still be able to pull through the metrics that LinkedIn are prepared to offer.
Yep, that's cool. And if it's just a click of a button to distribute your existing inventory across another network, once they've integrated in, you're already part of that DSP.
Yeah, it's all right. I think for the B2B community as well, nobody's ever taken that network too seriously. I don't think there's ever been too much creative push on the creative that gets pushed out across B2B networks, and as well, B2B advertisers tend to, in my experience, they tend to be a bit boring in creative formats and stuff like that anyway. They've not really got anything, any amazing creative ideas to advertise or shout about, and LinkedIn, the platform, obviously, is the only place for a lot of people socially to engage with that network. I think one thing that's a little bit misleading about this is, and it's always the same when it comes to like like creative formats like Carousel or something like that, similar to like Canvas ads and things like that. The reporting metrics in a lot of ways are flawed. So like LinkedIn are talking on like an interaction basis, a CTR click-through rate, improved performance versus like static creative, which is fine, but you're going to get a lot of misclicks there simply because if somebody sees just one static image in their newsfeed, they're just going to scroll past it. They've seen everything that they need to see. On the carousel or ad format, you might be intrigued to see the next one and the next one and the next one. And obviously there's going to be people that make mistakes there, click through just by accident when they're meant to swipe. So I think you're always going to see a nice CTI for those kind of ad formats anyway, especially carousel. I don't think it necessarily means they're better performing or more enticing ad format. I think it just means that people want to swipe right and sometimes they accidentally click. But yeah, I think I'd be more interested on like conversion metrics and stuff like that when it came to this, and that's another long-standing problem with LinkedIn. The things to, obviously when you're reporting on conversions and things like that, there's very few event-based stuff or multi-conversion point activities that you can actually tie back to LinkedIn activity and the attribution and everything else. You can obviously use, if you've got like a tracking tool or an attribution tool or even analytics to a certain degree, if everything's tagged up correctly, or you're tracking the referrer in a very specific way, then that's fine. But obviously a lot smaller advertisers that don't have the development skills to be able to put that into practice are only able to use and obviously view the metrics that LinkedIn offers, which are very, very basic, and which I don't think really tells you to a greater degree about that user's experience with your ad or what they do when they get to the website. I mean, we've had it quite a few times, haven't we, where we've even just abandoned setting events up for LinkedIn activities or conversion metrics and just decided to go with like a UTM tagging, something like that. Because the reporting back in LinkedIn, it doesn't support that kind of thing. So yeah, not getting down on LinkedIn too heavily, I don't think. It would be nice to see them push a little bit faster on different things. Like I say, I understand that it is limited with that, that viewership and the following that you do get on LinkedIn, and obviously it's nowhere near the following that you would get on Facebook, for example. So that's going to be in a complete accordance with its viewership and its following. But yeah, it would be nice to see LinkedIn start to do a little bit more on the creative side now.
Definitely.
So we're going to look at Instagram could potentially be rolling out a long-form video platform. Now Instagram, Facebook have already pretty much turned into video platforms, in my opinion anyway. I think probably about at least upwards of 80% of the content that you see on there is video based, albeit fairly short, snappy kind of stuff. YouTube has been more of a search engine for video for years and years. They've sort of cornered that market. They've got a massive user base, and they've got a significant amount of influencers that are capitalising on that platform that got in there early. I think Instagram opening this up are definitely going after that market. They've got the demographic to make that grow. I think it's going to be a really good move. It's going to be interesting to see how they format that within the app, whether it'll reflect YouTube in terms of search to make everything more accessible, because I know the Discover tab in the Instagram app's been a little bit flaky in terms of discovery, and YouTube does that really well. So yeah, interested to see what happens there.
Do you think there'll be any like tighter control on publishers and the type of content they put out? Like we were saying before about the YouTube publishers, they're under more and more scrutiny as the years go by to publish, non-explicit content and content that's probably going to get people's backs up. Or do you think they're just Facebook's clearly trying to just poach that audience now and obviously use it to make ads on? Do you think they'll eventually start to vet their publishers a little bit more in the future, as have YouTube?
I think there's always going to be an element of that. I think that's something that Facebook and Instagram have been working on with the current content that's going out on the platform. I think they send to check it, don't they? And so I think especially Facebook in the past have had issues with racist content and things like that they've had to catch, and they've had to up their game on. YouTube have made that publicly a mission of theirs to stop that happening. So yeah, I think Facebook and Instagram will need to tread carefully with that. I think it will take one big issue with Instagram rolling this out that could potentially harm the progress. If they execute it well with no issues, then I could see it probably taking a chunk of YouTube.
Well, surely they've not ignored what's happened to YouTube.
Yeah.
Surely they've taken that on board for what they're developing now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think especially as well, since Facebook have been in the public eye quite a lot lately for a number of different things. In not a good way either. So I think they'll be key to make sure that they hit the ground running with that. I don't think they'll. I hope they've covered all bases in that respect as well, because it can't be another thing, can it, that Facebook have done for over the last sort of year or so.
I think the ad formats that they roll out in this long form stuff will be interesting as well, because I think that's still something that YouTube are trying to figure out. I think the ad formats that you can do across video is quite limited, but Instagram seems to be experimenting with the best native ad format for the platform, with like the shoppable stories and the shoppable posts. So I'm interested to see whether they can release an ad format in video, in a long form video, that doesn't interrupt your experience, because that's what they're trying to get. I think that's what they're trying to achieve with the ad formats that they're putting out in the stories and the image-based stuff.
We definitely
I
need
think
to.
one of the most useful, like we were saying earlier about the story adverts, the shoppable posts and things like that, that's adding value to people's experience, whereas a lot of the time when you get like a broadly targeted video or clip in story or something like that, it is just a little bit disruptive and interruptive, whereas if you can do something clever, do more things clever like that and speak to what they know is their market audience, then yeah, I think they're obviously leading in that respect, aren't they? It's contextually relevant to their audience.
That's
whereas
the key,
I think
yeah.
YouTube tends to be, well, which advertiser's got the biggest budget and what can they negotiate with their publishers, obviously.
That's it. It's not as bid driven as it on Instagram, whereas YouTube is historically a bid based model, a CPC or a CPM.
Or a direct partnership.
Yeah.
I think the most recent one is it like the top 5% of advertisers will get access to certain publishers and stuff like that, where I know there's manual control over that when you're working at a really high level, but I think this type of product appeals more to smaller advertisers.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but the header ad on YouTube, that ad spot is something, I can't remember off the top of my head. It's something absolutely extortionate, like millions per day or something.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned with Discover tab in Instagram, if they're adding more and more types of content, they need to sort that out. It's a magnifying glass. You click on it and it's like, what's going on? It's like search results before you searched.
It's going to be key. It is going to be key. The discovery of new content, because it's limited to the people that you're friends with.
Yep.
That is going to be key to the growth of that.
Well, maybe they need to take a different angle to YouTube there. Instead of just recommending other similar videos by anyone, it needs to be just videos by your friends that may or may not be similar, just like more stuff to watch.
I think they could do all sorts, couldn't they? Trending. They need to take the best elements for discovery that YouTube offer, like trending, top trending, automated topics, things like that you've shown interest in. Hashtags that your friends are liking.
There's not going to be, what are the chances there've been relevant crossover there? I think Instagram, I don't know if it indicates maybe it does who your peers are and stuff like that. No, I think it's very specific to you and obviously the content that you browse on there. And it'd be interesting to see whether if they build this following even more and there's more ad products that are relevant about if they get a bit greedy with it and try and expand who they attract to the channel platform. It must be hard as your business model to not go after a new demographic or a new audience or something like that, because when you're monetizing it, why wouldn't you?
Yep.
But yeah.
Alright, last topic today is another AWS feature update. So we do odd ones of these, they release tons of stuff, so we like to cherry pick out cool ones, usually cool ones that I like. So we did one a few weeks ago on Amazon's S3 Select, so that was querying S3 objects, which is cool because S3 is just a way to start files basically, or historically it was, so now you can query it, so that's a great little feature. Something that's great for devs. I mean, obviously as a consumer, these sort of an end user, these types of services, you don't even notice it's on Amazon, let alone any of these cool features that are available for developers. But Amazon Web Services is a massive business now, so these features they can put out there and make things that are historically hard for devs to do easier is a win for them, because it just means people are more likely to spend more money with them and make tons of money. So this one's about Amazon Aurora, so that's Amazon's MySQL compatible database engine. So they're actually creeping in quite a few sort of enterprise level features into their database engine now and making it dead easy for devs to use. And so this one's called Backtrack, and they've referenced a bit of Turner in the blog post title as Lee made a joke about. And then, so basically what it lets you do is just turn back time in your database. So this is a pretty cool feature. It's something that you don't really, I mean, if you run your own database server, you'll know that undo doesn't exist. If you cock it up and run a query by accident, you're in trouble. So everyone with a bit of experience has dropped a table or a database that they're not supposed to, and you're looking to wrestle with a database that's dying on you. And you've usually got to go and find an SQL dump. Could be from a week ago. And if it's a week ago, someone's going to be pretty annoyed because you're going to lose a week of data. But then this Backtrack thing, essentially when you create a new Aurora database now, you can enable Backtrack, and it'll give you a little quote for how much it's going to cost you. It's like $10 a month, something like that, depending on how big your database is and how often you use it and how many transactions you do. And it lets you just restore to a point in time. So you pick, when you set up Backtrack, you pick if you want 24 hours, 72 hours or whatever. 24 hours I guess would be enough for most people. And if you make a cock up or make a mistake in your database, you can just turn back time to whenever you want really in that window. So your database does go offline for a couple of minutes while it does it, but then it just comes back up at that point in time. If you've made a mistake, you can actually go back towards the point in time that you were at before, so you can even sort of like correct a little mistake if you go back 5 minutes, and then you go, crap, I've lost some data, and then you can change it and basically jump to just 2 minutes from where you are originally. So it's great. Essentially all it is a glorified log, so you're paying for Amazon to store a log of everything, and obviously these are all timestamped entries, and then it can just move back to where you were in the log at whatever time you pick. So I think that's pretty cool. It's an enterprise level database feature that's been around for years, but in terms of sort of consumer accessible database engines and clicking buttons and getting these things done, it's not really been something that's been available. So this got announced, I think it was May 10th, according to this article, so over a month ago. But we've just started using it and we think it's worth the money just to save your ass that time when you make a mistake. Because you might have a backup every 24 hours, but it's not good enough sometimes. You need to be able to go back 3 minutes ago. It's pretty cool. You do your whole cluster as well. So if you've got this is available now too. So if you've got an Aurora database, you can turn on backtracking, start using it. It's pretty cool. Try it out. It'll save you some pain. Everyone's had the heart sink when you press wrong button. So saves a bit of pain, so it's always good. It's only a small price to pay as well if you're paying a lot of money for your database server anyway. $10 a month won't be a lot, so it's probably worthwhile. Let's check out, have a play with it. It's interesting. And these little features are great. These are things that keep people coming back to AWS. And these Amazon initiatives like Aurora, supposedly 10 times faster than a traditional MySQL database. So when they're bringing these platforms out that they're obviously building internally, they're superseding huge platforms that have tons of users like MySQL. If they're bringing devs over to them and they can't get this service elsewhere, then it's a winner for Amazon because they're making a ton of money. So any feature like this is pretty cool. Keeps devs there, keeps devs happy. Anything that can reduce stress like this or panic, it's worth its weight in gold when you need to use it. So it's pretty cool. So that was episode 13 of Industry Spotlight. I hope you liked it. Covered quite a few marketing topics there and then a little AWS one too. So if you've got any other topic ideas, let us know in the comments. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye.
We should do a song.
Song?
I bet they haven't been sung to before.
They will have done.
I'm not very good at singing.
We could talk
You're
something
right,
out. I'll
please.
wheel you in on a piano with like a monkey on your shoulder or something and we'll start like...
You're right, good at clicks.
Buy some clicks.
Buy some clicks, buy some clicks.
No,
We
no,
give
buy
free dev.
Buy one click, get 2 free devs.
Buy some clicks.